Good evening. I'd like to call the regular council meeting for the city of Freeport to order, May 23rd, 2024. Please stand for invocation and pledge.
Dear Lord, just thank you for this evening. Thank you for all your many blessings and letting us be here to take care of your business for the city of Freeport. We just ask that you give us the wisdom that we need. In Jesus Christ's name we ask this. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First on tonight's agenda is the consent agenda under tab 1 are the bills for the city of Freeport. And under tab 2 are the revenue and expenditure reports through April of 2024. Is there any public comments on the consent agenda?
Mayor Barley, tab 8 was also added to the consent agenda.
No, they decided not to do that.
Never mind.
Okay. Any public comment? If not, I'll ask for approval of the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Councilman, yep. Day.
Aye.
Councilman Ferris.
Aye.
Councilwoman Brennan.
Aye.
And Councilman Dickey.
Aye.
Motion carried. Are there any additions or deletions to tonight's agenda?
I do have one addition, parcel of land on Highway 20 East.
Okay. Any others? Anybody else?
Under planning updates, I'm going to address a potential grant opportunity to complete some sidewalks in the city.
Okay, any more? I'll ask for approval for the additions to tonight's agenda.
So moved.
And second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Councilman Day,
Aye.
Councilman Ferris,
Aye.
Councilwoman Brennan,
Aye.
and Councilman Dickey.
Aye.
Motion carried. We're going to change the agenda around a little bit because we're waiting on Clay to get here. We're going to begin tonight's meeting with planning.
Good evening, Mayor Barley. Before I get into the grant opportunity, I want to invite Ms. Charity Fortune, who is our grant technician, to come forward, and she's going to tell you about the document that she put on your desk.
Hi, I'm Charity, the planning tech over at Planning and Zoning. As you know, we have an event called Anchor Chats. It's an open house that gives the citizens a chance to come by and meet us, learn what we do, and ask a few questions. We've developed a packet of information to distribute there, and we wanted to give you the opportunity to see what we have available. It has development maps and updates, educational information on planning, frequently asked city information, and a few flyers, including sewers do not flush notice, business registration flyer, and instructions on finding your permit. These will be available at Anchor Chats on June 14th from 9 to 11, and if citizens can't be there, they can give us a call and we'll be able to email them over to them. And I will be happy to answer any questions.
I think it's a great idea. Thank you so much. We
Yeah.
appreciate
Excellent.
it.
Thank you. Mayor Barley, council, once again, good evening. The next item I have is a grant opportunity. Staff and engineering and Liberty Partners have been in discussions regarding a new grant program that's really nationwide called SS4A, Securing Streets for America. What the grant does is allow jurisdictions, county and city to develop an action plan. And the action plan literally would show all of our multimodal and city sidewalks, where they are, whose jurisdiction they are, whether or not another jurisdiction is doing anything to upgrade or not, and gaps in our current system, and steps to getting any one of those gaps taken care of. It's not specifically to add another leg, for example, to 331 business, but it creates the action plan that they will fund where we can create a map that shows generally, these are where we need sidewalks, this is where we need multimodal paths, this is where we have intersections that need lighting, where we need crosswalks, and an actual how-to manual on how we're going to go about doing each of those things, how we're going to obtain funding. But before we went any further with our discussions, I wanted to talk to the council, let them know we were discussing that, and see if that is something that the council will be interested in us continuing. And it would literally, I guess, the motion would be to allow staff, engineering, and Liberty Partners work together to apply for an SS4A grant for an action plan.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Thank you,
Any
Ms.
further discussion? Any public comment? Councilman Day?
Aye.
Councilman Ferris?
Aye.
Councilwoman Brennan?
Aye.
And Councilman Dickey?
Aye.
Motion carried.
And the next item I have is so exciting. I am so pleased to bring before you the conceptual master plan for the Ronnie Bredden Senior Memorial Park. This is a 57-acre parcel. It will be another regional park. When we obtained this property from the developer of Ashton Park Phases 3 and 4, he also, with that, included some funding to help us get started. There's $157,000 in the budget right now that we want to use to start this initiative. What you're seeing here on the screen is the access from 331. And the road comes in, it veers north. Go back down a little bit, Kathy. Take it back down to that first one. And it veers north and then across the top of the property and then back down and connects with the Cruz property. One thing that's come up since we got this packet put together, it would be how nice it would be to create a boulevard road that had separated lanes with landscaping and trees in the middle. Not only because it looks nicer, because that's a traffic calming mechanism.
Yeah.
So we would like to consider adding that as a feature to the park. It helps people slow down. Nobody wants to hit a tree, you know. And plus it just adds a lot more shade and will look nice. But this is the overall plan. It starts at this end, and I'm just going to talk through it, and then we'll go to the different phases. You can sort of see the lines, the red dashed line here for phase 1, the purple dashed line for phase 2. And then the rest of the phase here. We'll go up to the next slide, Kathy. And first, you come in off of 331, and we would start at this end, because what this is going to do is we're going to add an emergency access, official use only gravel roadway from here down to Ashton Park. That was one of the conditions of getting, they have to have a secondary access for emergency. Like if there's a fire here and these people can't get out on their road, they'll be able, in an emergency situation, to be able to access that road and get out. Otherwise, it'll be gated and have signs at each end that say official use only. But we would start with the roadway in here and the sidewalk that would come through this area. This has 2 dog parks. The dog park on this side, the large one, is for large dogs, working breeds, Labrador retrievers, golden retrievers, German shepherds, big dogs. And in this area over here, we would have a small dog and senior dog facility, so that if you have an elderly dog that doesn't need to get overly excited, or a small dog that's afraid of big dogs, you'll have a little area set up just for him. We have lots and lots of ideas about how to make these parks really special. For example, in this one, we want to have a stick library, which is a kiosk with branches of all different sizes that they can take a stick, use it for their dog, put it back. We'll have a dog lost and found, where if they need frisbees or toys there or balls, we'll have a little area, you know, if you need a toy, take a toy, get out there and throw it. And lots of other little things, so it's not just a field where people can walk their dogs, there's going to be interaction between the dogs and their owners. Same thing with the small dog park. This also would have picnic gazebo here. It would have bathrooms here with a wash station for dogs. Muddy paws, you'll be able to actually do a little spray area where you can kind of wash off your dog's feet before you get them back in the car. But we'll have all these green areas. There'll be some stormwater in the royal blue. And then going from that, we'll do a T intersection at that top end when we do the first phase until we get the rest of it built. Go to the next map, Kathy. And here's phase 2, where we continue on in the roadway and you come into the large parking lot with a cul-de-sac and you've got pickleball courts. More bathrooms, lots more walking trails where people can walk. And that would be the next phase. We already know we're short of pickleball courts. It's such a hot sport, everybody loves it. So we'll have more pickleball courts, and then moving on to phase 3, you'll go ahead. Moving past that, we'll come around this way to another parking lot with 2 multi-purpose fields in this area. A children's playground here between the multi-purpose fields and pickleball courts here, and an outdoor grassed amphitheater where we might have a small oval raised like boardwalk thing. It won't be a whole building, but it'll be a place that if we want to do night at the park here, you've got a stable, secure area where a 3-piece little band can come in and perform while we have everybody out there. And then it connects into Cruise Landing. And why is that important? The county and the city have both been trying to find a connection from Old to 331 in this area. This does that effectively. And because it's not a straight shot, you're not going to be able to get up a huge head of steam to fly through here. You know, we'll have suitable traffic calming measures coming through here, but I think it's just going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing. We vetted it through the sons of Ronnie Brannon. They loved it. We actually showed it to Gus Andrews, who gave the city the property for this, and he loved it. I hope you guys really like what we've come up with. I think it's going to be beautiful. What I need tonight is, 1, to get feedback from you, and 2, I wanted to know if you're ready for us to go ahead and come up with an RFQ to design and permit.
Councilwoman Brandon.
I absolutely love it.
I'm so glad.
And knowing how Ronnie loved his little dogs, he would be laughing right now over that.
Oh,
He would be throwing his head, but he loves it.
Spirit of Missy's going to be right there.
He's
Oh,
going to
yes.
absolutely love that.
Councilman Ferris.
Latilda, y'all
He
have
would
done a
have.
great job.
I can't take
And
all
I-
the credit. Cliff,
But
Sam.
all of y'all, because I can
It's
tell you
wonderful.
something, this would be something if Ronnie was here today, he would appreciate
Yeah,
that.
he sure
Well, it's
would.
going to be
Thank
something
all
for
of y'all.
everybody.
Thank all of y'all.
Something for everybody. So at any age or, wherever you are in your walk of life, lots of places to walk, lots of places to recreate. And I have figured out pickleball was designed for
Oh.
older folks like me so that I don't throw my back out, I'm not going to kill over a heart attack.
Well, I think it's a good mix too, because
Sure.
it's going to draw a lot of people out of there that needs to be out of there. We could,
I agree.
change a few things there if we needed to, and I think it's
Sure.
really good. I
Well,
really
and
like the
this is just the
concept.
first of several more regional parks we're going to have that's going to alleviate all the pressure that's on the sports complex.
Yeah.
Because 2 more multi-purpose fields, that's great.
Yes.
Pickleball, we've been
Yeah.
trying to multi-purpose our tennis courts for pickleball. It kind of works. We haven't been able to get anybody to build our new pickleball courts, so, but I just think that it's going to be a beautiful park that will be an amenity. So I need to know if you guys like the site plan.
I like it,
Love
And
it.
did you like the suggestion to boulevard that street?
yes.
And will you guys approve me to move forward with developing an RFQ to get design and permitting?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further comments? Further discussion? Any public comment?
I love it. I love it. That's my comment. And I want to know if the sidewalk trails are going to have anything that says how far you've exercised.
Thank you for that. I think we do need to have markers, the way they do in the Uniac Springs and the Lake Yard, where you can count tenths of miles.
Yeah.
And that's another way that we can enhance this. And because we're doing dog parks, my idea is that we need to put dog waste stations and drinking bowls at all of our bathrooms. You need to have a place where if you
Absolutely.
not only drink water, you can water your dog at the same time and make this very dog friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any one of the anchors
We'll do that later. I've got lots and lots of ideas about how we can make it really special, and I'll be bringing those to you with some of our public art projects.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Sellers,
I was wondering, in the dog parks, are we gonna have any like ponds or swimming areas where there's laps like to swim?
I'm thinking in the big dog park, we might have like a very
I
small
have visions of dog diving.
splash pad thing, not a fancy one, but a
Yeah.
small one, like the one at Choctaw Beach.
Because it's too hot.
That's fenced, and you can just push a button, and then for like 5 or 10 minutes, water will shoot up and down, they can cool off a little quick. But that's one of the other things, because the big dogs suffer this heat. I know they suffer. I got a lab, and I think that would be a great amenity, especially in the large area.
Yep.
But lots and lots of places where your dogs can get water, and they can play, and you can really interact with other dog owners, have fun. We could do a dog parade here when this thing's built. We could literally have a
Kath,
dog parade.
did you get Ms. Sellers' name?
Oh, I know her name.
I know, I just want to make sure.
Thank you, though.
I'm
Yes.
reminiscent of the grease pole. Anybody remember the grease pole and the grease pig was? They
Yeah,
were off, that was awesome.
yep. Any other comments? Councilman Day?
Aye.
Councilman Ferris?
Aye.
Councilwoman Brannon?
Aye.
And Councilman Dickey?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Mark, do you want me to go ahead and address the item that's under legal? Since it's my item? I can.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, what we have is hopefully a correction to Resolution 24-01. Mr. Odom brought it to my attention, and I went back through the paperwork, and actually, a lot of paperwork, and we put 40 lots in the resolution. It should have been 42. You've got a copy of the original one. And when I talked to Mr. Odom, he also asked me, because he is committed to having no more than 42 lots on this property, if we would add language from our land development code regarding guest cottages, and that there would never be more than 42 lots, and they had guest cottages, it'd be for immediate family, and they could never be rented short term. And the reason he wants it in here is so that when this PDP becomes part of the homeowners association, he's got more teeth to enforce that, because that's part of the approval. I have no problem whatsoever with us adding that language that's directly from our code. So this is basically about approving the correction to the resolution, which is going 42 instead of 40, and adding this language for our code for the purposes of his HOA talks. That's it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Public comment? Councilman Day?
Aye.
Councilman Ferris?
Aye.
Councilwoman Brannon?
Aye.
And Councilman Dickey?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you so much. That's all I have tonight, Mayor.
City manager?
Yeah. Good evening, council and Mr. Mayor. Starting with before I start with mine, I just want to give you all an update. Last year, I think it was Ms. Brandon, I think everybody knew this. We talked about putting a sign up there at 331 Business and US 331 saying no through traffic, and basically, I think that's what it's going to say, but I got word from the sheriff's department that it's up there now, so it's been done. So
Good.
they're
Thank
well
you.
aware that we wanted that, so.
Where's that?
It's after you turn on 331 Business, so probably right there before that apartment complex. I haven't seen it yet, he just called me this afternoon. And it's just to deter tourists from following their GPS and coming down 331 Business and backing up.
Yeah, so it doesn't lock down all of Freeport during all the, summer traffic.
Right. I don't know that it'll work. but
Yeah.
we try.
It may not work, but it might. It might deter some, yeah.
So next item is the one under D, number 1, proposed live oak fiber site and contract. It's under tab number 3. Clay has reviewed this. They are paying us some money, and you've already approved having the site or having the, so it'll give everybody another fiber choice for internet or whatever they're going to sell. So I just need a motion to approve.
Make the motion to approve. So,
Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion? Any public comment? Councilman Day,
Aye.
Councilman Ferris,
Aye.
Councilwoman Brennan,
Aye.
and Councilman Digby.
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right, I will move on to my add-on item, which is the parcel on Highway 20, and I will basically ask Cliff to come up and tell y'all all the reasons that we need this, and I'll be looking for a motion just to go forward if that's what y'all choose to do. It's still got to be appraised, and there's still several steps to go, but I wanted him to go through this part first.
Good evening, council, mayor. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. About 2 years ago, Matilda, Mark, myself, Newberry, and some others were brainstorming on our traffic issues that we have at the 331 and Highway 20 intersection. We started about 2 years ago pursuing a 100-foot wide easement on the first page that you see here for Marquee East. And so just to the north side of this little skinny section, it's on the top, is the SEPCO. So the SEPCO was under construction at the time the photo was taken. It's obviously built now. But the right-of-way that we have begged for and received verbal agreement on from American Fidelity Properties is a 100-foot wide easement from 331 all the way to their far east boundary. And so Marilyn Hess is the owner of the company. We requested it probably a year and a half ago. They've given us a verbal thumbs up for it. We plan on presenting them with this council with a official easement that Clay's preparing in order to get approval from the council to move forward with that 100-foot easement. The purpose of the easement is so that somebody that's coming, for example, from Hammock Bay could actually make it all the way to Highway 20 to the east of 331 without ever getting on Highway 20. So it would be a cut through for the new bridge that's tied in at Shipyard Road. You'd be able to come across the light, all the way across this property, and our goal from 2 years ago was to get you to Highway 20. Now, if you remember, DOT has plans right now to do an urban section through Freeport and beyond this property, which means it's a divided highway, 4-lane divided highway with pedestrian facilities. Really after we got the verbal approval for this easement, which I 100% understand the council has not approved the easement yet, but it's coming to you soon. We started looking at ways to connect this 100-foot easement to Highway 20, because obviously a road to nowhere does no good. So without a connection out to Highway 20, the only option is to use Joe Campbell Road. And if you're familiar with Joe Campbell Road, it's about 18 feet wide, and the only right-of-way is actually only 30 feet wide, and that's prescriptive rights on the east side. It's platted at 30 feet on the west side, and all you have is prescriptive rights on the east side. And so without a connection to Highway 20, your only option for Marquee East is to tie it into Joe Campbell and to go an additional 2,600 feet east to where Joe Campbell comes out on the Highway 20 now, which would be a challenge to add any kind of pedestrian facilities. So in other words, if they end up 4-lane in Highway 20, putting sidewalks on it, you're gonna have a hard time adding sidewalks to a road that only has a 30-foot right-of-way. Pretty difficult. So we started probably a year and a half ago researching properties, and so if you switch to the second page, we started a year and a half ago researching properties that would allow us to have a connection out to Highway 20 from this 100-foot easement. The first piece of property that we looked at is the one that's all the way on the east boundary, which is just to the right of the one that's in red on the second sheet. That's owned by a fellow named Mr. Amigo. Mr. Amigo, after many discussions with Latilda, indicated that he was not interested in selling at all. The first option that I picked when I was putting the alignment together a year and a half ago is on the 8.5 by 11 sheet that I gave you, the smaller sheet. There's an A, a B, and a C on that sheet. Option A is this piece that's labeled in red right here. That is the piece that we actually really wanted a year and a half ago. The problem is there was no owner name on the property. It was somebody who does not register their name with the property appraiser. We had no way of contacting them. And so, about 2 weeks ago, that property owner contacted American Fidelity, because American Fidelity is the adjacent landowner, and wrote them a letter indicating that if they were interested in buying that property, that they would get first shot at buying the property before he listed it on June 1st, which is in a few days. And he indicated that he indicated to them that he was going to give them first chance to buy it. Well, American Fidelity Insurance had no interest in purchasing the property, so their people, to my surprise, last Friday afternoon, emailed me the letter that they received from the landowner. And so we've been trying to figure out how to get a hold of this person for a year and a half to talk to them. And so I sent it to Latilda right after I got it, and kind of put the 911 scenario on it, because I felt like it was an opportunity that the city would have to be able to make that connection. It's 2 acres. The gentleman is asking, am I okay to say what he's asking or no? The gentleman was asking $850,000 for the 2 acres. So let me run you through a couple different scenarios. And I know you guys don't like surprises, and I don't like surprises either, but at the same time, it literally happened last Friday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon is when we got this information. And so we kind of wanted to rush to put it in front of you and let you guys decide what you want to do. But let me tell you the benefits of this piece of property. On the 8.5 by 11 sheet that I handed out that shows options A, B, and C, you'll see a green line going across the whole front of that piece of property. That's all right-of-way that DOT has to purchase. DOT has not purchased any right-of-way for the 4-lane yet. So that entire 50-foot strip all the way across the front of that, DOT has to purchase from whoever owns the property. My guess is that it would be worth at least $100,000 for you guys to sell that to DOT for right-of-way. The second issue that I would bring up that is unbelievably important is that if you own this piece of property, it would save you about 2,400 feet of roadway construction. Road construction right now is about $1.5 million a mile, roughly. So you'd have about $700,000 in savings in road construction. You'd have about $200,000 in savings in the water line construction that Larry needs to build to loop his system. So you would essentially have $900,000 in savings between the road and your water line, and you would be getting paid, and I don't know the exact amount, but I would guess at least $100,000 from DOT. It would also leave you about 3/4 of an acre on the west side that you could sell if you chose to sell it, or you could build some sort of community center, or have a spot for another elevated tower, or whatever you guys needed to do. And there's also a piece that's on the east side that you would not need. And so if you see how I drew the right-of-way in, you end up with a piece on both sides that we really don't need to be able to build the road, but it could be used in the future by the city for whatever you guys deem necessary. And the last point that I think is important, it would give us the ability to have pedestrian access all the way from Shipyard Road to Highway 20 with sidewalks, which you're not going to be able to do if we're stuck tying into Joe Campbell Road. And so I think it's an unbelievable opportunity, and I understand you guys don't like surprises, and I don't either. But you know, I discussed it with Mark and Latilda, and felt like it was a good opportunity, but, you know, obviously the decision is up to you guys what you want to do. And so I'll be happy to answer any kind of questions that I can help with.
Councilman Ferris?
Cliff, I appreciate everything you've done. And, you know, my thing is being proactive, not just sitting and waiting. And this here, we've been trying for a long time about connecting all the way from East Bay Loop going to 20. And the thing is, if we have to sacrifice, but then with the benefits that we could get out of it, to me, it's worth it, because here, it helps alleviate some of that traffic. And that's what it's all about. I appreciate it. I appreciate what y'all done.
Unfortunately, the options are extremely limited.
Councilwoman Brannon?
I love the drawings, I love the concept, I love the idea. I would be against selling either side of the road if we can get this property and do this. Do I think it's worth the amount they're asking? No. Would he work with us on an appraisal? If we got an appraisal for it, would he be willing to at least do that? Because I can't in good conscience say, yeah, we're going to spend that kind of money right here now today, because I know what the market is and I know what it would bring normally.
Yep. Yeah, I have no idea. I've not talked to the gentleman, so
I don't know what the process would be, or,
I've
you know.
spoken with him, and he's aware that we would have to get 2 appraisals. So really, and Clay, correct me if I'm wrong, all I would be asking for at this point is to be able to move forward and get the 2 appraisals, and then it would come back based on that, and y'all could do.
Well, you and he have both executed an option in this.
An option.
So the way we would do it, let's walk through this, you're actually asking for a little bit more than that. We recognize the price may well be exorbitant. So when I draft an option contract for a local government, the position is this. The repeated phraseology in it is it must be ratified and approved by council at various stages. So Mr. Martin, as your city manager, has the authority to place a contract into effect subject to ratification of the city council. That's true with anything we do. The mayor's had that authority for many, many years as well. He has to bring it back before you. With the real estate deals, it's critical that we put together a presentation where there's a true contract, and we've drawn up a standard car bar contract in this scenario. We presented it to the owner, who has signed, as well as Mr. Martin. So we have an option contract at that price. That requires us, because it's above $500,000, to get 2 appraisals. We have to average those 2 appraisals, and if the council wishes to buy above appraised average, it's going to require 4 votes out of the 5 council members. So what we'd be looking for tonight, if you want us to move forward, is to ratify the contract for the city manager, to ratify the contract he signed, and to order the city manager to obtain the appraisals. The appraisals will then come back, and you have to authorize us to move forward. Once we move forward to the next step, you then still have to authorize and ratify the closing documents that will be executed. And if you don't do that in any step, we get out of the contract, no earnest money is awarded. No earnest money is done at $8,500, which is, my standard request of the government is that we only put down that percentage rather than putting down 10%. We put down 1%. But since it's automatically returnable, in almost every scenario, it's not really much, but you do have to pay the money to have consideration to make it a binding contract.
So how do we need to do the motion?
The motion would be to ratify the contract and order the appraisals.
Well, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Public comment? Councilman Day?
Aye.
Councilman Ferris?
Aye.
Councilwoman Brannon?
Aye.
And Councilman Dickey?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you.
I'm gonna fill in for Rebecca. She is out on H and the billing updated utility application. Basically, there was a couple of pages in the existing, it used to be 4 pages. She cut it down to 3. We had Clay review it. He's approved it. Just looking for y'all to approve for us to be able to start using it. It's got essentially all the same verbiage.
Motion to approve.
Any discussion? Any public comment? Councilman Day?
Aye.
Councilman Ferris?
Aye.
Councilwoman Brannon?
Aye.
And Councilman Dickey?
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right, You want to do A or you want me to do it?
Yeah, I can do it. Good evening, council.
Hello?
So we helped Mr. Tuttle bid out the elevated water storage tank, 10-4 on JW Hollington Road. So it includes painting both the interior and exterior. Actually got a ton of bids. I want to say we got like close to 10 bids, so that's a first. Lowest bid was Dixie Painting and Sandblasting for $275,320. We haven't worked with them before, but the inspector that the city uses has worked with them a good amount, so they're a good quality company. He's excited to work with them if the council decides to award it to them. So with that said, I'd be looking for a motion to award and issue notice to proceed to move forward with Dixie Painting and Sandblasting.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Any public comment? Council,
Highest bid.
big difference in the bids.
Yeah, 635.
Just curious. Yeah, it was,
It's right there.
635,000.
635,000, yeah, so. But, yeah, previously we've used US Tank and Tank Pro. So their pricing is probably pretty competitive, but yeah, we're happy to get Dixie Painting's price, so.
Yeah.
So we have a motion
Yeah.
and a
I
second.
seconded it, yeah.
Councilman Day? Councilman Ferris?
Aye.
Councilwoman Brennan?
Aye.
And Councilman Dickey?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Perfect.
Thank
And real
you.
quick while I've got you guys, Ms. Littleton brought up the pickleball court, and I just figured I'd give you guys a quick update on that. So we are waiting to see if the city gets the FERDAP grant, and so hopefully we should hear back any day. Should be June is when we would find out. And if either way, if the city gets it, we've got a whole list of contractors that we're going to put that out to bid again, and hopefully get some bids this time around. So.
Good.
Perfect. I think we're done. The only thing I would like to say is we're having our first Memorial Day ceremony Monday morning at 10 o'clock, if you're able to come by, to honor those who have sacrificed their lives for us. And we'll probably make this an annual event. I've had a lot of people asking about it, and we were able to pull it together. And so again, you're invited at 10 o'clock. Any public comment? Not? Meeting's adjourned.